Pretty recently, I read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. If you don't know, he was a Roman emperor who was calm on his deathbed, and that's how I'm trying to go out. The book is his personal journal and is an account of personal rules that Marcus Aurelius followed to live a life that he deemed in accordance to his nature. He would keep constant awareness of these rules and filter his thoughts and daily life through these rules. These rules were almost like a daily practice to him, hence the title Meditations. This led me to think of how I could develop something similar, a set of rules that I could basically filter my thoughts through to allow me to stay locked in accordance to my nature, reasoning, and highest self. I developed a couple rules that I think can be beneficial to anyone, not just myself. The first rule that I've been forcing myself to follow is not stressing about things that are out of my control, or things that would be fruitless to think about. If a thought arises about something out of my control, I simply think, what part of it can I change? And will enacting on that change bring about the true fulfillment that I desire? And I'll define what fulfillment is to me later in the video. And if there's no part of that I can change, I simply just let the thought go. Let me give you an example. Say I spent weeks or even months on a video and it didn't go as well as I anticipated. Well, I could worry and stress, but that doesn't grow my channel. So the first thing I do is pretty much forget about the video, at least in the sense of it moving forward my channel. And this part is important. I focus my attention on making more and continually better content. But basically, I'm shifting my perception from a state of unease to a state of eagerness to improve. As I said in the meditation video, shining my perceptional spotlight on the areas which return the most brightness, which is actually the second rule. Shining my perceptional spotlight on the areas that return the most brightness is another way of saying putting my attention in the areas where it is most lucrative to be. Basically keeping the things that I should be focusing on in focus. Say for example, I'm stumped on a coding problem, which I am right now. All my focus should be put on the problem that is currently in front of me, not thinking about new features. It would be a fruitless endeavor to think about new features because I wouldn't even be able to implement them until the current problem that I'm working on is done. So I would even be able to implement those new features that I was thinking about quicker by not paying attention to them or giving them any mental resources in the short term. If me and Pinnell ever start having a conversation of, oh, let's do this or this project after this one, guess what is always followed up after that type of conversation? Okay, let's get to work then. Because we acknowledge that putting our perceptional spotlight and attention on the work that's in front of us would allow us to live our conversation instead of fantasizing about it. The last example I'm going to give you of shining my perceptional spotlight on the areas that return the most brightness is just my whole life. For the life that I want to live, it makes so much more sense for me to be living how I am than like partying or some shit. Because I don't consider a party the type of light that I want reflected back at me. I want to see progress. That is the type of light I want reflected back towards my perceptional spotlight. So I give all my attention to that which will bring me fulfillment and satisfy my last rule on my mental filter. The last rule on my mental filter is comparing everything I do in relation to my death. And just by doing this, the first two rules become infinitely easier. Because if you're sitting there overthinking and then you think, am I going to care about this when I die? No. You automatically jump to, oh, what should I be spending my time on then? They just fall into place with this line of thinking. By consistently reminding myself of the inevitable in my mortality, it makes me realize how much time I really do have and how short that is in the grand scheme of things. So as frequently as I can, I'm checking myself, making sure that any thoughts and actions align to the ones that I would want to have spent my time on when I'm dying. And by doing this, recently I've reached like the truest sense of fulfillment I've ever felt in my life. Just by framing everything on a slightly larger scale, keeping in mind that my actions do eventually come to a halt. And every life, not only mine, has the same unifying conclusion, that everything is ephemeral and comes to an end. And to be constantly aware of and perceiving that end, not only as the finale, but in relation to this very moment. So just like Marcus Aurelius, I can die peacefully, knowing that my life was always lived for this moment. All I can do is isolate my actions in my mind and become stronger to move forward with the dying me in mind. Ever cognizant of my ephemeral existence, not in perturbation, but in calmness. Eagerly living to calmly die. Calmly living, ready, but never eagerly dying. Learning the lessons of life, not just by living, but by reflecting on its final teaching, death. Now, this is a lot to keep in mind, and it really is a meditation. It's a mental practice that you have to do every day, and it's not just like you set amount of time. You have to constantly be checking your thoughts and filtering your thoughts. The hardest part is definitely being aware of your thoughts throughout the whole day, and that can be very challenging. It would be wonderful if there was an exercise that makes you aware of your thoughts, and someone has like a full guide on it teaching you 9 different styles in depthly with fire edits and video, where you could sign up for coaching and talk to me about like how to do this and how to apply it. Is there an exercise that makes you constantly aware of your perception, what you're perceiving? Nah, but in all seriousness, bro, go watch the meditation video. It will help you greatly to develop the awareness of your thoughts to even be able to apply this mental filter. It would have been impossible for me, literally impossible. I was so present and lost in thought. It would have been impossible for me to constantly be cognizant of my thoughts, let alone in constant analysis of them. We're mostly on autopilot through the day, bro. Like, even just eating, try eating a meal presently, bro. It's hard. The meditation guide is from a complete beginner to knowing 9 styles, and like gives you how to practice each style. Like, you literally become a pro in like a couple months. Well, not a pro, but like definitely better than 99.9% of the population. I'm telling you, it will be one of the greatest 30 minutes investments of your life, completely free. Second link in the description. If you want me to help you adopt these principles or develop your own for your custom goals and for you to succeed, sign up for one-on-one self-improvement coaching, and I will definitely help you achieve your goal, whatever it is, from learning to fitness. I got you. Now get off YouTube, because is this really what you want to remember when you die? Really? Not only as the finale, but in relation to this very moment. Please don't spend my time recording.